I'm not gonna delay this. I'm gonna get right into it. This video is very overdue. Just like the title says, this is a review of Bonnie Christine's Surface Design Immersion course. I'm Jasmine, Biolize Joy on most platforms, and welcome to my channel where I try to find ways to romanticize my life through creativity, whether that's through hobbies, renovating my 1940s bungalow, or anything else in between. If you're interested in that, please subscribe. If you're not and you're just here for what this video says, that's fine too. A couple of years ago, I posted an unboxing video of all of the materials for the Surface Design Immersion class when I had enrolled, and then I never posted anything else. Now that I have taken this course twice, and every time around this year, right before the relaunch of the new course, I get comments, questions from people who are asking, is it worth the investment? I think this video is overdue and it's time for me to give a full review on the course. I've taken some notes on my phone so that hopefully I don't miss any of the questions that you guys have. Hopefully by the end of this video, a lot of your questions will be answered. If not, feel free to leave a comment to ask follow-up questions, or again, you can find me on any of my other socials at Biolize Joy, and you can DM me and ask whatever questions that you may have. First of all, I really wanted to make this video because I know when I was doing research before deciding if I was going to make the investment, it was very, very hard to find videos for this course that were not affiliated, which means that the videos or the reviews that I was finding on that course were people who were approved or affiliated with the Bonnie Christine course, and essentially they got paid if you joined the course. So it was really hard for me to find something that I didn't think was kind of biased. Regular people who, you know, were on the fence about joining the course. I just felt like it was very difficult to find genuine, like, regular reviews from people who had taken the course. So that did give me a little bit of pause. It did raise a few red flags for me that I couldn't find much out there. And I mean, I checked YouTube, random blogs, Google, Twitter. Like, I was on everything trying to find at least just someone who I felt was more on my level, more on my speed, and who had taken the course and had given a genuine review, and it was just really hard to find. Ultimately, obviously, I did end up signing up for the course, partly because I wanted to see for myself. Obviously, the reviews that were able to be found were glowing reviews, and at that time I was just very interested in surface pattern design, what that looked like, and wanted to learn more. So I decided to make the investment, which leads to the next portion, which is cost. I enrolled in the Bonnie Christine course. It was 2023, and the price at that time was $1,997. So we might as well say $2,000. And $2,000 is a lot of money. Like, I'm not gonna be one of those people who are like, oh, it's just $2,000. I'm like, no, $2,000 is a lot of money. From my research, it seemed as if the course had jumped substantially over time. Say at one point it was like $900, and then it jumped all the way up to like $2,000, which that's a substantial jump. Like I said before, I ended up taking the course twice, and the only reason that I decided to take the course a second time is because if you take the course one time through and you pay the full price, then the next time that you decide to take the course, you're given a 70% discount. It might even be 75% discount. So the second time that I ended up taking the course, I paid $4.99. It's a huge difference, and I thought, you know, why not take the course the second time if I'm going to be able to get it for a quarter of the price of what I paid the first time. Again, both are pretty pricey. For $500, you can do a lot. For $2,000, you can do a whole lot. So I will say the price is up there, and if you are hesitating because of the investment, I 100% understand. Because it is not just a drop in the bucket. So if you're like, Jasmine, can you get to the point and tell me if I need to invest that much money into a class? I'm sorry, I don't have a straight answer for you, because it really does depend on who you are, what you're looking for, and what your goals are. So I'm gonna kind of make this into like a pros and cons situation, and I'm gonna go over these bullet points, and hopefully by the time I get through all these pros and cons, you'll have a clear idea on whether or not you think this is something that you should invest in. So my first point would be the timeline. This is like an 8-week course, I believe. She does have weeks for you to implement tasks, and then you have weeks where you are actively like watching the modules, learning the material. So if you are someone who has a lot of free time in your schedule, if you are someone who is able to dedicate at least 3 to 4 hours a day to this program, then you would be able to probably finish on pace. The reason why that's kind of important is because part of the class is having live sessions 3 times a week with Bonnie. She does like live Q&As, and in order for those sessions to kind of make sense to you, or you want to actively participate in those sessions, then you need to be on pace. And so it is very hard to keep up with that if you are working a job like me. For me, I was working 2 jobs at that time. If you have other responsibilities during the day that are taking your time and attention, it can be very easy to fall behind. I will say I fell behind both times that I took the class. I absolutely fell behind. Is it possible to catch back up? Yes. It is possible to catch back up, but again, you're missing out on those kind of like live sessions that are happening in between, as well as some of the things that are happening in like the community that she has. So that there's like an online community that goes with the class, and you're able to like ask questions and chat with other people who are in the community and things like that. And so if you're kind of behind, you find yourself like, it's helpful and it's hurtful. The community is great because you find other people who are also behind with you asking questions at the same pace that you are. But then there are people who are way ahead of you, and that can just kind of get a little overwhelming. Another reason why it can be kind of frustrating if you're not on pace is because the course lasts for 8 weeks. You get the support from Bonnie Christine and her team for 12 weeks. And then after that, everything as far as like community Q&As, being able to reach out and ask for questions and things like that, that's over after 12 weeks. So if you have not finished everything within the 12 weeks, then you still have access to the community to see like archived questions and things that other people have asked, and you still have access to all of the videos and the material and things like that, but you just don't have that live access anymore to ask questions in real time and get answers in real time. And that can be kind of frustrating. Like, I paid all this money, and I know that like maybe that's just a me thing, and it's not realistic to be able to have access to people over time. And there is a way to get access over time, but I'll get to that in a minute. But as far as the immersion course, that support ends in 12 weeks. If you are someone who needs support from other people, this class may be for you, based on the fact that there is a community forum where you can, you know, post for other people, get critique from other people, encouragement from other people. But you can also sign up for a study group. And when you sign up for a study group, Bonnie's team pairs you with other people, and you guys are able to meet, encourage each other, give critiques to each other, and kind of work through the course together. Now, I did not do a study group. One of the reasons why I did not do a study group is because, one, I didn't know if I was going to have the time to dedicate to being in a study group and to be an active participant. And like, I'm not going to be the girl who signs up for the group project and goes missing. Like, that's not who I am. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't do a study group. Another reason why I didn't do a study group is because it does cost to be in a study group. And again, the course is already $2,000, so I wasn't gonna tack on another, I wanna say like $50 maybe, to do a study group and work with other people. I just participated more so in the community forum, and once I fell behind, I really didn't participate in the community forum as much because I was just trying to play catch up. If you are someone who is willing to pay for a study group and you need that close-knit, more like that close-knit relationship with others who are also in the course, and you're willing to pay that money, this might be a course for you. Or if you're someone who feels like the community forum that you have access to, which is kind of like a message board, and you feel like that's enough to keep you going or keep you on track, then this course might be good for you. If you are someone who is kind of a loner, who isn't that social, who isn't that open to meeting new people or having conversations, or even just like, I know how it can be scary to throw your art out there and to show your progress with other people and open yourself up to criticism and feedback. If that is not your jam, this course might not be for you, because more than likely, if that is your jam, you're probably going to fall behind, and you're probably going to become disengaged with the course, and that's $2,000 that you did not use. If you are someone who does have the time, the free time to dedicate to getting this course done in 8 to 12 weeks, then this course might be a good investment for you. If you are someone who is already struggling to manage their time as is, and you need a lot of technical support, this class might not be for you. If you are someone who does not have a lot of time but does not need a lot of technical support, then this class might be for you. If we're talking about technical support, another thing that I want to bring up is technical skills. So the Bonnie Christine course does do a good job of meeting people at zero. You don't consider yourself tech savvy, if you don't have any experience at all with Adobe Illustrator, then this course does a beautiful job of breaking it all the way down. I mean, down to teaching you how to save, how to organize your files. Pro, again, if you're not tech savvy and you need extra support in that, it's great for you. Con is if you find yourself as someone who is more tech savvy, who has, you know, at least the basics covered, a lot of the beginning material can feel a little elementary to you. And yes, the way that the course is designed, you can skip through the modules and skip things that you don't think apply to you. I didn't do that. Even if I had already known a section, I watched it anyway, just because here and there you might catch a different way to do something that set off a light bulb. But, or even just someone who is like artistically savvy already, a lot of the beginning modules might feel very blah to you. It does start from the very basics, like finding inspiration and finding your creativity. Now, a caveat to that is, even though I kind of felt like I was already ahead on that type of stuff, she does offer some very inspiring words, some very inspiring catchphrases. She does offer some tips and things like that to like really keep you into your get you into your creative mind, which is nice. It is very encouraging. She is very positive. She is very inspirational throughout the course. So if you need that type of support, then this course, you know, those beginning modules and this course overall would probably be a good fit for you. If you're someone who is like, I'm here to learn this and jump right to the meat and potatoes, those early modules could be a bit of a stretch for you. Okay, let's talk about materials, course materials. Because again, if the course is already costing $2,000, what am I getting and what do I need to have? If you go to my original video, it is an unboxing video, I show you what comes in her course box. You get a course guide, you get, I have them here, you get the workbooks that go along with the modules, you get like a graduation certificate. It is very nice. The workbooks keep getting better every time and they're just beautifully made. I have zero complaints about the packaging, what comes in the packaging, the workbooks, nothing like that. Like, she did an amazing job with that, so you do get that. The things that you need to have on your own for this course, obviously you need some type of computer. So she does give you instructions for both Windows and Mac. You need to have obviously your drawing materials. She does go over like how you can have different materials, like if you don't have all the tech things, because again, this stuff is expensive. I cannot stress this enough. Like, computers aren't cheap, iPads aren't cheap, scanners aren't cheap. Like, she goes over how you can, you know, circumvent those things if you don't have those things or you don't have the means to get those things. And I do appreciate that about the course. So she's not being exclusionary. It's not like, oh, you don't have this, you can't participate. Like, she is truly finding ways to meet people where they are, and I do appreciate that about the course. You will have like a materials list of things that you'll need. Some of them are simple, it's like basic pen, paper, markers, colored pencils, you know, sketchbook, like that, that you're able to get at your local craft store if you don't already have it. So no knocks there. If you're already seriously thinking about like taking the class, then you would know that you're gonna need, at the basics, a computer and access to Adobe Illustrator. The access to Adobe Illustrator though goes right back to cost, because if you know, you have to pay for Adobe. Adobe is not a free service. Adobe's not a pay one time and be done with it thing. Adobe is a subscription that you have to keep paying for to have access to. So that's something that you need to think about putting into your budget if that is something, if this class is something that you're going to invest in. You do have to have Adobe Illustrator. The next thing I want to talk about is what I actually did learn through the course and why I took it twice. I definitely say I learned more the first go around than the second go around. The second go around was more so because it came at such a discounted price, and kudos to Bonnie, she does redo the course every year. So the 2023 course was not the 2024 course. Are there a lot of similarities? Yes. A lot of the same material taught? Yes. But she does go through the whole process of re-recording, restructuring, adding modules. She even has bonus modules for you for like other things that you might be interested in if you want to dig deeper. So kudos to her for doing that, because I can only imagine how much work that actually is. She redesigns the workbooks. She does, like, it's a whole operation. So that being said, I do feel like I learned the most the first go around, and the second go around, even though there were a couple new modules, they weren't make or break. Which is why I decided not to take the course again this year, because I feel like between last year and the year before that, I got the information that I needed. And even though, again, it would have been 75 or 70% off again this time, I just feel like that wasn't another investment that I needed to make. So what did I actually learn? Did I learn how to make repeating patterns in Adobe Illustrator? Yes, I did. And if that is what you are getting into this course with hopes to learn, you will learn that in this course. It does take you through that step by step, and by the end of the course you should have a good grasp on making patterns in Adobe Illustrator. So let's put that out there. 100%. Did I learn how to sketch better, draw better, new techniques? No, this class is not for that. Bonnie does encourage you obviously to practice and to just get, you know, some marks on the paper. This class is not going to teach you how to be a better artist in that way. So if you were looking for a class that is going to break down drawing, compositions, and things like that, you're not going to get that in this course. She's going to encourage you to practice, and she's going to encourage you to kind of get out of your own way as far as, you know, not letting fear stop you from practicing and trying. But you are not going to learn like technique in this course for that. You will learn technique for Adobe Illustrator, but you are not going to learn, you know, technique, like personal technique. So business tips, business information, business launching. Did I get that from this course? Yes and no. I do think that Bonnie does a great job of providing like a basic level of information on what building a business in Surface Design Immersion could look like. She does go over things like art licensing and pitching and making a portfolio and how to navigate, or like how to approach maybe a art vendor or things like that. She does go over a few different methods of how you can make money from this. She does share a few vendors that she works with or websites that she uses to get a lot of her work out there. And so while I think that's a great like foundation, I kind of feel a little surface level, and I kind of feel like if you're already knowledgeable or versed in a lot of this information, it's not going to feel the most helpful to you. If you are somebody who has never thought about this, who has never done the research, who has never heard of this, or has no idea where to start, this will be a wealth of information to you. And Bonnie does a good job of bringing in speakers and colleagues and other people to kind of motivate you and show you what they've been able to do with their businesses over time, as well as sharing what she's been able to do with her business over time. But again, a lot of it in this course feels very surface level, very foundational, and it's something that can just like encourage you to continue to do your own research and figure out what works for you. If you're taking this class hoping that it is going to give you, again, foundational tools and tell you, you know, what could be and just best practices for beginners or somebody breaking through, yes, I think this class is a good class for you. If you are someone who is kind of already out here doing it a little bit and, you know, you might want a refresher, this course could be for you. If you are somebody who is already out here doing it and you're doing the research and you're making the pitches and the things like that, then this course probably isn't the best thing for you, because it's not going over advancing, it's going over starting, if that makes sense. One of the other things I wanted to bring up as well, as far as Surface Pattern Design and Illustrator, she does teach you how to do that, but you're not going to learn the whys behind it, if that makes sense. Like, she's telling you, click here, do this, do that, do this, you get this, which is great. She's giving you the formula. But if you are someone who really wants to know the mechanics, the whys, the technology behind that, I don't know the words, I don't know the word to say it, but if you're someone who is just like, why does this do that, or what are all these other tools and options in Illustrator, and what can I do with those in my Surface Pattern Design, this course is not going to teach you that. This course is going to teach you Bonnie Christine's way of making Surface Pattern Designs in Illustrator. So if you are someone who is more so interested in what that looks like overall in Illustrator versus this way, then this might not be the course for you. If you're cool with learning it this way first and then expanding out and figuring out more later, the course could be the course for you. The last thing that I want to bring up, and this is not to be negative, this is not to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but again, I just know it was so hard for me to find like a genuine review when I was looking, so I wanted to make this just as transparent as possible. And this is no shade to Bonnie Christine, her course, her class, anything like that. This is just more of like an ethical thing for me. I'm a social worker first and foremost, and I think with a social worker brain, so you can take this with a grain of salt if it doesn't apply. I just want to say, like, life is hard for a lot of people right now. Post-pandemic, people are still trying to recover. We have housing crises. We just have a lot going on. Ethically, there were just a few points within this course and the marketing for this course that kind of made me cringe a little bit, to be honest. I just felt just a little tone deaf. I just want to talk about that just a little bit. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I do want to point it out. So first and foremost, I cannot state it enough. The class was $2,000. Before I go into this next part, I do want to say kudos to Bonnie Christine, because she does offer scholarships where the entire course is covered for a select few. I think that's awesome. I think that does acknowledge that she knows that the course is pretty pricey and it can be inaccessible to a lot of people. So the fact that she does offer scholarships is amazing. Again, I give her kudos for offering payment plans for those who might not be able to do it all in one fell swoop. I think that's amazing. One thing that kind of gave me the ick when I was looking up the course and finding research is, and I want to say this was on an Instagram post, it was something like highlighting a person who was having a hard time trying to come up with the money to pay for this class. And I want to say the post like encouraged people in the comments to come up with ways that she could come up with the money for the course. And you know, some things were a little lighthearted, but there were some pretty serious things in there, like, oh, I sold my car so that I could take this course. I got a second job to take on this course. I sold a lot of things out of my house, out of my closet that I didn't use anymore to get this course. Bonnie Christine shares her own story of how when she was trying to figure out what she wanted to do and she decided to take the leap and do this work, she sold her car, you know, and they went without until they got successful. So, and while I appreciate the hustle and I'm all about the hustle, I can appreciate the sentiment of, oh, there are ways and you can find the money and you can make the money and you'll be fine. I do feel like, again, that can be a little tone deaf for people's situations, and to suggest that, oh, you can sell your car or you can sell things that you have. I feel like that doesn't acknowledge that, like, to even be in a position to do that comes with a certain amount of privilege. And so that was kind of just gave me the ick. Another thing about this course that I've kind of hinted at it throughout is it does feel like you are often being asked to shell out more money and more money and more money. If the initial investment of $2,000 is already a lot for some people, to then be asked, oh, if you want a study group, it's $50 more. If you want to come to our conference, it's $300, $400 more. If you want to join our monthly membership and go even deeper, because again, immersion can appear pretty surface level if you're not, you know, a total beginner. So, you know, join this monthly membership that is X amount of dollars. And we're not talking, again, $10, $15, $20. We're talking hundreds of dollars. To also put the pressure of, you know, a short window of having to decide if you're going to do it, or it's only being offered a certain amount of times a year. It can feel very overwhelming when that much, when those offers are being thrown at you back to back to back. And so I just feel like ethically it can kind of feel a little cash grabby. I don't think that's the course's intention. I don't think that that's Bonnie Christine's intention at all. Again, when you take the course and you hear her story and you hear her framework, you'll kind of get the gist of, like, she is so great at marketing and she truly believes that, like, you can figure it out, you can do it, the means are there, you can sacrifice. But I just feel like in times like these, it is a little tone deaf to be constantly asking for money and subscriptions and upgrades and things like that when the course at its base price is already $2,000. This video was way longer than I expected it to be. But I hope that it answered a lot of your questions. So overall, do I think the course was worth it? I don't think that the course is, like, I don't think you can compare this course to something that you would have gotten off like Skillshare or anything like that. It is immersive. You do get a lot of good information. You do get a lot of foundational information. You do learn, again, if your goal is to learn A to Z how to create a pattern in Adobe Illustrator, then yes, it was worth it. And I would say it's worth it if you are someone who wants that ongoing support over time, like you did immersion and then you moved on to flourish and things like that. Yes, it was worth it. If you are someone who is just trying to dip your toe in and learn more about it, I wouldn't say start here. I would say start with something in Skillshare or even on YouTube. People are showing how to create patterns in like Procreate and Affinity and all these other places. I don't think this is the end-all be-all course if this is something that you're just trying to stick your toe in. So yeah, that is my review of the Bonnie Christine Circus Design Immersion course. I know how hard it was for me to find someone who I deemed unbiased and someone who would just keep it real about the course, good, bad, and ugly. And I hope that, you know, this video serves that purpose for you. And I hope that you got a lot of your questions answered. If there's any other questions that you may have, let me know. And yeah.